Earthquakes of magnitude 5 and higher bring in the new year with a ring of fire activity. West Coast is also shaking, and we also have the area of the mid-continental rift shaking. Besides New Madrid seismic zone area, which is the real foot rift. But let's take a look at that together. For those of you who don't know, the mid-continental rift is this red thing around there, around the Great Lakes, as you can see. And we're going to see quakes there as well that have been felt. And this is basically Superior. At one point, about a billion years ago, was very close and almost connected with Wyoming. And of course, Lake Superior and Wyoming, where we have Yellowstone, is a lot farther from what they were a billion years ago because of the Rift Valley. This is the mid-continental rift. And there's a magma body under there. As you can see, that's the red area. The geologists don't know what is feeding that magma body. You usually have a magma body, of course, where you have rift zone. That's what's causing it to rift apart. Here we are. Let's take this off. We have all the quakes for the past week. And this is it. The Ring of Fire. As we know, this is the area of the White Island volcano, the North Island of New Zealand. And we have the subduction zone here. We have a tremendous amount of activity. This was a 5.3 just today, January 1st, at 18.5 kilometers depth. And this is an aftershock of that, 4.9. New Zealand. We know that New Zealand here also has a supervolcano. The Taupo volcano is a supervolcano, one of the 20 in the world. And the White Island volcano, which is a volcanic island, is about 130 miles southwest from the Taupo. Okay, so we have this one here, 5.4, again today, January 1st, hit Tonga. And we had this one here, 5 magnitude, Papua New Guinea. Of course, we've had earthquakes, a tremendous amount of quakes, of course, in Pahala is always deep in Hawaii, the hotspot. This is one on top of the other, is 4.6 in Russia. The Kamchatka Peninsula here, 5.1, 64 kilometers depth. The Aleutian Islands, 5.1, 24 kilometers depth. 5.2, 40 kilometers depth. Again, all this is January 1st. All the blue is today's quakes. The yellow are the past week, and the, or from yesterday in the past week. The red is the past hour. And, okay, the Aleutian Islands, we said, 5.2. And this is a look at, let's take a little bit closer. Okay, Yellowstone right here. And this is where we had the big quakes of 6.3 a few days ago. For some reason, they're not on here, but we can see them on the Canadian chart right here. 25th, okay? The 6.3, 6.2, and tremendous quakes going on. 26 as well. This is a new one today in this area here. Yesterday, 2 days ago, okay. This is the New Madrid seismic zone right here. And these are from the mid-continental ridge. They don't show most of the U.S. quakes, but we can go here to Seismos Berkeley to see that. Okay, this is the mid-continental rift, and it goes this way. It has the magma plume that goes around like this, like an inverted horseshoe. And basically, the continental United States is splitting into 3. It has the New Madrid seismic zone here, from the Mississippi River going along New Madrid, Missouri, and to the south of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and out towards the St. Lawrence Seaway. So all this is already split, and Missouri is already split, and it just has not too much to go. And that's the real foot rift zone. So that's one area. That area is sloughing off towards the southeast. Then you have the other area right here, which is a billion years old. Superior was much closer to Wyoming. This is an area of the magma that's under there. They don't know where it's coming from, really. And it's there. And we're getting quakes there lately. These quakes here. And we have real tsunamis. You see the ongoing activity on the west coast, Ridgecrest, Salton Sea. All this is volcanic areas. The Walker Lane fault system, the San Andreas fault. Okay, and we have Seattle, Portland, and there's another crack here going from Vancouver Island through Seattle, through Yellowstone. You can see part of the crack there. You can see that better on Google Earth. And it stops at the New Madrid seismic zone. That crack is 2,200 miles. And then you have the other crack of the New Madrid seismic zone going perpendicular to that. So this is the area of the mid-continental ridge that I showed you that has the lava plume underneath, the magma plume. And let's go here to see if it was felt. 2.9 magnitude, depths very shallow, 8.8. In Nebraska, 3 people have reported feeling it, just south of Sioux Falls, right there. And tectonic summary, most of North America, east of the Rocky Mountains, it has infrequent earthquakes. Here and there, earthquakes are more numerous. For example, New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri, and Clairvaux-Kamouraska seismic zone of eastern Quebec, North England, New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington urban corridor, and elsewhere. Most of the enormous regions from the Rockies to the Atlantic can go years without an earthquake large enough to be felt, and several U.S. states have never reported a damaging earthquake. Earthquakes east of the Rocky Mountains, although less frequent than the West, are typically felt over a much broader region than earthquakes of similar magnitude in the West. East of the Rockies, an earthquake can be felt over an area more than 10 times larger than similar magnitude earthquake on the West Coast. It would not be unusual for magnitude 4 earthquake in eastern Central America, North America, to be felt by a significant percentage of the population in many communities more than 60 miles from the source. Now, I just want to, okay, you could read that if you want. Basically, it's because the sediment, the soil is softer. But going back to this, and going in this way, all right, let me show you the Canadian. Okay, the Canadian right here. You can see that we have quakes quite big here as well, right? This is 4.3. And pointing this way, and we have Maine as well. Maine has 5 volcanoes pointing towards Quebec. 5 volcanoes there. And we've recently had Philadelphia, Rhode Island, Delaware earthquakes, you remember, a couple of weeks ago. And this is Connecticut, Massachusetts, and this is Maine, right? Okay, Maine, that's Quebec. You see these things here? That's a seamount. This is a series of underwater volcanoes. It's a seamount with 30 volcanoes, and they're pointing this way. And the magma there is pushing this way, and it stops around this area of Quebec. It doesn't go into this area because that's a type of a shield. So basically, most of the earthquakes stop around there. This is, we know, this the mid-continental rift. That's what shaped Lake Superior this way. And if you extend that down, that's where you have the Nebraska earthquake. Kansas, Nebraska, and we have Kansas volcanoes here, 3 kimberlite volcanoes spitting dimes, gems, semi-precious stones. Yes, there are volcanoes there. As we said, they don't know where that magma under there is coming from. Hopefully they'll find out soon enough. We know that the magma from Baja here is feeding the west, and it's also feeding Yellowstone. So that's like a Y type of a shape, feeding the west coast, the high threat volcanoes of Walker Lane Fault System, and also Yellowstone. That's why, basically, I don't know, but what the Ridgecrest earthquake here gave quake swarms in Long Valley Caldera, which is here. Mammoth Lakes, Tom's Place, and also Yellowstone. Just as it did 20 years ago, the last time we had a 7.1 Ridgecrest earthquake 20 years ago, in 1999, that also gave quake swarms to Long Valley Caldera supervolcano and also to Yellowstone supervolcano. Yes, they were felt. Okay, so that's the situation today. 5 magnitude earthquakes, 5 plus, all along the Ring of Fire. It's amazing. And here as well. This just turned blue. It was red the last time we saw it. Okay. All 5.3, all along the Ring of Fire. So the West Coast, as you can see, has the most quakes of the world. Thank goodness they're not big, but they're small. And we also had here. And okay, that's 4.2. That's 4.2. 4.2. Okay, 4.2. That's where we have, this is also volcanic areas with volcanic arc. Kikimjeni is a marine volcano, and that's also very active. It's a very active area. We have one here in Albania as well. It was a 4.2. So that's a 5.1. Okay, Africa. So that's what I wanted to show you. Quite active today. I just want to wish everyone a very happy new year, prosperous new year with peace, love, and the best of everything that Christ can give us. God bless you all. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.